one key way to help resolve the problems of our filters is exploring your worldview. And what I suggest is I gave you a bunch of different techniques last class that you can use. And I want to emphasize that understand your worldview is a lifelong process. We often talk at Cal Poly about learning to learn. Part of what we're doing here is learning to, to continuously learn beyond this class, beyond Cal Poly, your time at Cal Poly. So you're not going to, in this class, just writing your self-reflection paper or going through the T group is going to help you a lot, but it's not going to give you a complete handle on your worldview. So it takes time, it takes effort, it takes courage. It's like exercising. You don't decide that you're going to have a six-pack ab and go to the gym for a week and then like, where are my six-pack abs? You have to keep going like every week for a long time and be disciplined about it. So, it's the same for your worldview. Hi. And like exercising or any other kind of technique, there's a certain degree of potential pain or discomfort associated with exploring your worldview, but it can also be exhilarating. I find it so exciting when I discover new filters, when I have aha experiences, when I'm like, somebody else has filters this way that I didn't know about. To me, that's exciting. Ultimately, the better you understand your worldview, the more likely you're going to be happy. So I have experienced becoming happier, becoming freer, more free in my responses. I want to really emphasize this one. We are very lucky here in this room to live in a free country. That's where we have freedom of movement, political freedom, freedom of speech, and mostly economic freedom too. Freedom to succeed economically. And so that's amazing. It's a very rare, it's a given to us, but it's not a given to most people on Earth. That said, we still feel not free. And there are many ways in which we don't feel free. Like I have to work, I have to go to class, I have to do a lot of stuff that I don't want to do, right? I'd rather go, being really free would be like maybe being a millionaire and going to the beach when I want, Like, how often do we sometimes have those thoughts, But I like to say that the constraints that we experience in our jobs, at school, in our relationships, are really, in many ways, self-imposed. They are really constraints that exist in your mind. They are out there. There's a correlate out there to those constraints. Obviously, I can't, go through that wall and pass through, and it's out there. But many of the constraints that we imagine, many of the social constraints that we perceive, are to a large extent self-reified, self-created, perpetuated. Like sometimes we have had constraints in the past that we don't have anymore, but we perpetuate them because we just can't see that we're free. So really, exploring your worldview is a great exercise in freeing yourself from constraints that are imagined. My UCLA mentor, Sam Colbert, used to say something that was kind of counterintuitive and puzzling at first, but was summarizing this idea. He was saying, I live in an organization that is much freer, which is UCLA, right? He was working at UCLA. I live in an organization that's much freer than my colleagues. And it's the same it's the same organization. Right? So and then he accompanied that with the organization is an artifact of the mind that views it. It's a psychologist's view of an organization. So the idea is that the way you view reality, to a big part, not entirely, but to a big part, is a product of your own structures rather than the organization itself. And if you can free yourself, then you're going to live a life that's much freer than people who live in the same organization, but they haven't freed themselves. Right? So let's just leave it at that. But you can be freer if you explore your worldview. And ultimately, which is the topic of this class, you will be better at interacting with others. You will be a better friend, a better lover, a better parent, and a better manager and colleague. So all of those things that involve interacting with others, other people, you will become much better in that if you explore your worldview. So I really encourage you to practice those tools, those avenues that we've talked about last time, not just in this class, but beyond it.